Hello and welcome to Maqam Lessons. This video is going to feature some short phrasing to work very specifically on intonation issues in Jins Rast. Most of the Maqam Lessons videos that I've made so far have been focusing on a sort of a mid-level of melodic vocabulary, the sort of bigger phrases like or that are kind of a medium length. And that kind of phrasing is really important for you to get the overall picture of the jins or the maqam. But I've been finding with some of my students, private students, one-on-one students, that sometimes we need to focus a little bit more closely on really the intonation of certain notes, certain intervals, and a much smaller level of melodic vocabulary. I often find that I need to do that myself in my practicing. So I'm going to take an approach here that's very similar to how I practice when I'm learning a new song or just learning some new improvisational vocabulary. And the point here is to really focus on some of the microtonal, quote unquote, intervals within the maqam. So in Rast, just sing with me for a moment. 1, 2, 3. It's that third scale degree that, especially if you have Western training, you may hear it, but then you may have issues with muscle memory in your fingers if you're an instrument player, or in your voice if you're a singer, that may make actually executing the this third scale degree challenging. So what I find the best thing to do is to really have melodies that connect it to all the notes around it and to try to unify them. So you want to be able to hear the connection between 1, 3, and the connection between 2, 3, and the connection 4, 3, and of course 5, 3, and in different combinations. Now we could do something where we just like do every single possible combination, but that's not very melodically accurate to what's happening in the music. So the best thing to do is to take short phrases, shorten them from actual melodies that you'll encounter in the music. So let's start with the melodies of Ghanni Li Shwaya. So Ghanni Li Shwaya starts like this. Ghanni Li Shwaya Shwaya Ghanni Li So let's take this shwaya, shwaya, and turn that into a little exercise. If you're vocalizing, I recommend you sing it. Shwaya, shwaya. Shwaya, shwaya. Shwaya, shwaya. And if you're a singer, don't just do it with the words. Also do ooh, Now we can break it down even further, and I recommend you do just the end of the phrase. Play it on your instrument. Concentrate on both the second, the third, and the fourth scale degree. In this case, E, half flat, and F, and D. So we're concentrating on the relationship among those three. And another thing that you can do is you can try to make the contrast between the Rast intervals or the same basic melodic phrase if it were in Nahawand. So here's what it would sound like in Nahawand. The third is lower. So you can sing ooh, ooh, and then back to the Rast. And then go go back and add more of the phrase. Let's take the first half. So start e, oo. And another thing that I really like to do is to really focus on getting the note the first second rather than sliding into it, especially if you're having trouble with the intonation. And whether you're a singer or an instrumentalist, I want you to sing this. It's important when you're singing to really try to sing from the stomach, from the lower abdomen. And I feel like the best way to engage that initially, if you're not used to doing so, is with just a loud ha, ha. So just do this for a few seconds. Ha, 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 ha. Put your hand on your stomach if you need to. Ha, 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 your lower abdomen. And then try to make the notes. Ha, 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 ha. And then together. Ha, 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 hoo, 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 he, 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 hoo, 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 hoo. And here you can do the contrast with a Nahawan phrase. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. As opposed to the Rast. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Back to the Nahawan. Ha, 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 ha. Hoo, 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 hoo. Back to Rast. Ha, 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 ha. And you could even try contrasting it with the major. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. And back to the Rast. Ha, 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 ha. Keeping to engage your abdomen the whole time. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. And try to make it smooth. شوية 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 غني لي وخد عيني. And then we have the same phrase, a step down. A great way to practice it. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Hoo 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 hoo. And we could take the first part of that hoo 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 hoo, which is a great way of circling that microtonal note. 2 3 4 3 2 3 4 3 2 3 2 1. So let's do those two halves. 2 3 4 2 3 4 3 2 3 4 3 2 3 2 1 2 3 2 1 2 3 4 3 2 3 4 3 2 3 2 1 2 3 2 1. Making sure to concentrate on the 3 being always the same every time when you go 2 3 4 3. Listen to yourself, like stop the video, sing it to yourself 2 3 4 3, and make sure the 3 is the same when you go after the 2 and the same after the 4. Hoo 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 hoo. Ha 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 ha. Engage your abdomen. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ooh, ooh. And you can practice also changing the 3 so you get the contrast. Let's do that in Nahawan. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. and then back to Rast. Ooh, ooh. Now, any one of these phrases that I'm giving you, you could pause the video and practice it 10 or 15 times. Actually, that's sort of the point of this video, is really take each short phrase, practice it yourself, listen to yourself. Don't just do it in the pacing with the video. If you can really stop, especially if you're concerned about your own intonation, you really want to improve it, the way to do it is to really focus on that one phrase, come back and do another one. So now I'm going to take, even though it's not in the song, I'm going to take the same basic melody and I'm going to sequence it down a little bit so we get to the 7th scale degree under the tonic, which is another part of Jins Rast, another part of Maqam Rast. Let's try that. Ooh, 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 ooh. That has 1, 2, 3. You have the 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 7. Ooh, 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 ooh. And let's practice it in 2 parts. Contrast it with Nahawand. Versus Rast. And let's go one more step down. So let's try some other little melodic phrases to get a little bit more variety in how that's doing. This one comes from my teacher, Alfred Gamil, who passed away last year. So another shout out to him. It's one of the first exercises he gave me to practice that E half flat. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 3. So that you quickly have the oral connection between the 3 and the 1 and the 3 and the 5 at the same time. So let's sing ha 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 ha. Ooh 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 ooh. E e e e e e. Let's add the, if you like to add the little ornament, I'm going to make it a little slower so you can practice it and then we'll speed it up. He, 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 ha, 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 ha. By doing the abdomen like that and forcing myself to make it ha, 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 I'm forcing myself to hit that note immediately when I first get it instead of sliding into it. So then I make the contrast with Nahawand, ha, 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 and then Rast, ha, 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 ha. See, it's tricky even for me. Ha, 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 ha. Good thing to practice on its own. Versus Nahawand, of course, you can speed that up. E, and then then add in ah, 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 e, right, whatever instrument you're playing. Playing the oud, do like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, da, 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 with your risha, something like. Double it. Same thing, obviously, with the violin. And if you can't do it fast with the ornament, just do one of the keys to really practicing and getting the focus on the intonation, melodic rhythm, and all of these things at the same time is to do something fast, then slow, then fast, and try to get the overall feel the same in the fast and the slow version. So that would be like this. Ooh, 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 something like that. Let me do some other phrases. I'm just gonna now. I've spent a lot of time on some of those phrases. Now I'm going to give you a few more short ones, not necessarily repeat them over and over again, just to finish off the video. And you can just, each one of the ones I'm going to keep doing, you can just take it, repeat it 100 times, 2,000 times. Believe me, I've played these phrases thousands of times, the little ones, right? In addition to the bigger ones in my other lessons, and in addition to even longer phrases that I've copied wholesale from other improvisers, whether voice or instrument. The little phrases are important too, especially when we're talking about the physicality of maqam. So before I finish, I want to give a big thanks to my Patreon supporters. If you have been benefiting from some of these lessons, my link to my Patreon is below the video. And for a small monthly contribution, you can support me making these free for everybody. And you also will get some extra practice videos in different keys from the YouTube things. So thank you very much for your support. Thanks to everyone who's already been on Patreon and for everyone who's sharing and liking these videos. I really appreciate you all. And just thank you for studying Arabic music. The more people who study, the more this music stays alive. So I appreciate you just for watching. So here's some more phrases, short ones to practice. Yeah, 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 Lin, yeah, Lin, yeah, Lin, yeah, Lin, yeah, Lin, yeah, Lin, yeah. just as important as focusing on this intonation is also this intonation, making sure it's low enough. Focus for a moment on this 4 in this intonation. Focus on that 4. 4 again. 'ah. This is from the word the song, but when the speak. Bit murisat, which I was working on with a student. Bit murisat badi. It's actually quite tricky, as I discovered when we were working with the student. 1, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 2, and getting the 3 the same in all cases. Bit murisat badi. Ah, 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 ah. Oh, 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 oh. Let's break that down. The last part. Oh, 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 oh. You can make that an exercise to do 1,000 times. And also practice the contrast with Nahawand. And then back to Rast. Nahawand. Rast. I'm taking another part of it. Make a little emphasis. You can even use your abdomen. Let's take that. Let's make it 2, 7, 1, 2, 3. 2, 7, 1, 2, 3. Working on breath control, other vocal things I'm not talking about here, but working on sort of trying not to change the voice quality when you're changing the notes, especially paying attention to if your voice quality is changing on the microtonal note because your muscle memory isn't used to producing that note. That's something that's easier for me to work on with you privately. or any other teacher can focus you on that, but that's something also you have to listen to yourself, record yourself, critique yourself, notice, am I changing my voice quality when I'm singing? Ooh, something different with that note. Try to keep it the same. Another good reason to use different vowels. Ah, 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 That's one of those longer phrases that you'll encounter, part of the larger word-based vocabulary. You'll hear that phrase all the time, but you can break it down. Yeah, yeah, ooh, ooh. Paying attention to the three. Ah, 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 ah. All right, thanks very much. I'll make a couple other short ones in Bayati and Sika coming up soon.